So where did you find the emotion for the second to last episode? We've talked about it with Vince on the show. You even saw it on Twitter. You tweeted back at the show, which we were all delighted about. Is that you playing your character Kim Wexler in the second to last episode, fittingly called Waterworks, a Better Call Saul? Your character has just come clean to Howard Hamlin's widow in the form of an affidavit. You've now come clean to a court on everything that you've done in the history of the program, and you're now flying back to your new life in Florida on a bus in an airport, and you break down crying. Where do you what were you thinking? Like where do you find that? Right.
I started with like emotionally what might be going on, but in the end, you need to know how to do your job at 3 o'clock in the morning for multiple takes. Freezing cold at the Albuquerque airport. Luckily, I have the most supportive family and Vince Gilligan, who's a dear friend, and I admire him so much, looking on and encouraging me. But at the end of the day, I felt like I truly understood what Kim would be grieving in that moment. And it is not just what happened that day. It's the loss of this relationship, the loss of herself, the loss of the man she knew Jimmy could be, fear for him, fear for herself. She might go to jail. She doesn't know at that point. It's a true tragedy. And the questions that they had throughout the whole show of like, who are we innately versus who are we because of the people we come into contact with, and the summary of your experiences, like all of those things, they felt tragic to me. And then I placed different things in my body. I think we've all been in public when we were going to fall apart. And honestly, it's an old phrase that people use too much, but your job is to play against. That's why it's interesting.
What do you mean?
You fight to not cry, because that's what we do when we're in public. Nobody like wants to bawl in front of a tram of strangers.
Yeah, returning a rent-a-car.
Returning a rent-a-car. But I went in thinking these things, and by the time you sit on that bus with the lump in your throat, which we've all had before, if you try to swallow it hard enough, it will fight you. It will fight you back, and that's what ended up making me. And then just, I felt everything. I felt everything of following this woman and this relationship for 7 years.
Yeah, and just how you shake your head. It's just, that's what got me to start. Because
thank you.
No, because I have done had similar moments where you just like, did that really happen?
Yeah.
That's what was so believable. Obviously, your emotions. But
yeah,
what,
how did we get here? How did I get here? Yeah, and also, please don't come out right now. Like that's the other nope, save it, suck it up. You've been sucking it up for 7 years, and you can still suck it up. And I told Vince, I was like, I'm afraid to it's always more interesting to fight not to cry. Are we sure we really want him to cry? And he was like, Ray. And Peter said the same thing. He's like, Kim has kept her together for 6 seasons.
Yeah.
She's allowed to fall apart.
Yeah. I mean, as I pointed out, even like your hair was always in a tight, ponytail.
Yep.
So, but what you just said though, Rhea Seehorn here on the Rich Eisen Show, what you just said though is that, she lost herself.
Yeah.
But did she really though? Because it seems that, part of her was...
She's still in there.
Yes. And the way that things ended, spoiler alert, it did kind of, when you visited Jimmy in prison, it did seem like, you kind of scammed your way in there.
Yep.
And it seems like, that you're the losing yourself is the character in Florida with the schmo.
Absolutely.
With the schmo you're shacked up with, or you're with, with mayonnaise as a side, and it's just, there's
nothing wrong.
You're writing
with
for Sprinkle. No. I'm not saying that's wrong. Just compared to the living on the edge of what you had.
Which is also the trap. I mean, people are watching that knowing the Kim that she was.
Right.
It's one of those things like I'm up late at night thinking like, who are all the authors we'll never read? Who are the paintings? What are the paintings we'll never see? There's there's people like working at the grocery store that are beautiful poets.
Yes.
And so there's nothing wrong with her life. The tragedy is that what she's capable of, and you hope she has those opportunities again.
So where is she today?
I am a hopeless romantic, so even though I know that the series, Peter nailed the ending as far as like, he's like, I want their lives to live on and for them to continue to have questions, the audience.
Yes.
And I said, well, I think you did that. I said, but I'm a hopeless romantic, so if anyone asks me, I'm going to say she definitely tries to figure out how to reduce his sentence. I don't think she scams. And we did have, when he does finger guns?
Yes.
We shot me giving them back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they took it out. And at first
What's
I was
up with that?
sad. At first I was really sad. And then Peter said, and Vince said, well, it was important to us that it not look like she just went right back. Her car tire just went right back into the rut.
Yes.
She is different. She is changed forever.
Yes.
And she truly might get back into practicing law and figure out how to do something about this, but it won't be by scamming this time.
So you reduce his sentence, and what, are you living together?
I don't know.
Like, what
Conjugal
do you
visits?
think?
I don't know. I know.
You know what I mean?
You can't stay with Glenn and just do puzzles with no pictures on them. I do jigsaw puzzles. And
So do I.
When I
By the
read in
way.
the script that she's doing one with no picture, I was like, oh, he hasn't decided, because he's very particular, as you know,
Yes.
in the most beautiful way.
Yes.
I was like, it's a placeholder. He hasn't decided. And then I got there. It was legit just a blue puzzle with no, I was like, that's maniacal. She's lost it.
Yeah, I mean, how do you do a puzzle with no pictures on it? I mean, that's nuts.
People do them.
Okay.
People do them.
All right.
And then they kill people. Sorry. I'm not going to get any free puzzles out of this.
Spoiler alert. My goodness, Ray. No, but hey, it is just, I mean, what a world.
Did he tell you we weren't in Florida either for any of that? We were
No.
we were in Albuquerque, and it was freezing.
Really? Okay.
Walking around the yard in like a little skirt.
Like in Florida?
Chewing ice so your breath doesn't show.
My gosh. And here I thought your most impressive acting was on that bus returning your rent-a-car.
It's not. It's about the countdown before they say action, and you and all the wonderful gals playing my friends, we would look at each other and we would say, shoulders down on 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Because you're like...
Oh, my God.
It doesn't matter. It's a joy. Everything on that set's a joy.
Of course. I mean, catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.